How do you launch a restaurant in 4 weeks? Well, that's what the boys and Feed the Beast find out tonight, and we're going to discuss it on tonight's episode of Feed the Beast. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
There we go. That's right. Let the buzz begin. Takes on a whole new meaning today because we're starting our special segment. We're going to do some wine tastings inspired by the show, of course.
Does it have a name? Or do we need to come up with a name for it?
That's your job at this point.
I'll think on it. I'll sleep on it.
I was just going to call it the special segment.
Come on, we need a name for it.
Maybe we do. We have Abby Vega here.
Hey guys, I'm Abby Vega, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
That's right, and follow us here at AFTERBUZZ TV. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to this show if you like it. That way, when a new episode drops, you get it automatically. As mentioned, we're discussing episode 3 of the brand new AMC show. Overall thoughts. Let's start there. You know, this is new. We're building up. How did you feel about tonight's episode?
In regards to what the characters are actually doing, it seems like they're going down the wrong track. I feel like it's going to be a lot of bad news. They're making a lot of wrong decisions, sparking, I think, mainly from Dion kind of just only focusing on himself. I just think they're going to get into a lot of trouble coming up in these next few episodes.
I think, you know, the fun part of it is it's one of those things they're going to keep getting into trouble but avoiding the consequences. Then I think it's all going to come crashing down in the final couple of episodes. In the meantime, other people will have to sort of pick up the pieces, much like with, the bodies being shot over the Asian Coke incident. And so I like it. You know, unlike most AMC shows that I've at least seen, whether it's Breaking Bad or Mad Men, this seems a lot more absorbable. And it's a little as deep as it is and as dark as it is at times, obviously with the father of the Tooth Fairy being stabbed.
I was just going to say, we got a little of that tonight.
But overall, it has a sense of fun to it.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's a little bit more absorbable, I feel like. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, yeah, definitely. Like every time too that it's either Tommy talking about wines or Dion with his food, it does have a very fun vibe. That the whole vibe of the show changes. Like they play the music, and it just seems so much happier when they're doing those kind of things. So it definitely does have that element to it. But I'm wondering if that stabbing of the guy in jail is just the beginning of maybe some more of that, because that was the first of the violence really that you see. So I'm wondering if more of that will be incorporated or not.
I definitely think so.
I think so too, and I hate that. I did not see that coming at all.
No, indeed. But let's take a step back. The episode pretty much picks up. Tommy is at home showering after he had beaten up his father because of TJ. So the whole bullying storyline kind of picks up there. And, one of the things that I will say, I am so glad that the teacher actually is doing her job.
Yeah, because she was kind of bothering me a little bit.
In the parent-teacher,
yeah,
in their interaction part of it.
Yeah, she was kind of just, I don't know, almost just putting the blame and kind of reading more into what was happening with Tommy than with TJ. And that's not her job, to be the counselor to the dad.
No, not at all. But, it's one of those tough things. Like, I was bothered with her as well. But, she also at the same time couldn't go off of much because, they couldn't isolate who it was and whatnot. So it is tough in that regard. Well, what do? You don't want to just start a blank panic of like, hey, did you beat up this kid?
Yeah, I think it bothered me most when she kind of started implying that maybe he was being violent at home. Because I think that's kind of like a line. You don't want to, I think even implying that to a parent is kind of, it's very offensive, and I think it's a thin line to step over, and she kind of implied it, and he didn't like that.
A very thin line, although, I'm not trained in that profession, so I can't say for sure. But it seems like he's being tested a lot in terms of how far he's willing to do certain things, because obviously the father then later tells him, like, I wanted to see how you'd react.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So I think just seeing him react to about his son is an indicator of how he is as a parent. And so by her throwing that out there, she saw that, okay, he's not responsible for this.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Yeah, he really is a good parent. I think it's just he's obviously it's hard with what's going on with TJ and with their whole family, but it's interesting how he keeps getting tested.
Indeed, and we learn, or I think we learned that the bully's name is Andrew Walker, and she was kind of putting out names, and then as soon as she said Andrew Walker, that's when he perked up.
He looked up. I thought there was going to be a moment between TJ and Andrew Walker at the end, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, because they have that nice exchange, and then he goes into the bathroom or something like that, and I love the whole interaction between the dad of Tommy teaching him how to box.
Yes, I really liked that a lot, and that's what made me think that there was going to be a moment where TJ really defended himself, because they made that big scene with Aiden and TJ. But I thought that was a good moment. I liked that.
I did too. And one of the things I guess I find the interactions between the grandfather and him so interesting, only because obviously there's a strange philosophy to the dad, right? And I want to know what it is, because at the same time, I think because of something that the grandfather might have said, TJ probably held back. It's one of those don't use violence unless absolutely necessary type of things. Whereas you can see someone who learned to box now, all of a sudden, even though they might not be a master at it, just automatically going, okay, I've had 2 lessons of boxing, I can beat this kid up, and not going that way.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they included. Have they talked the counselor's name? I don't know her name.
I didn't.
But I thought it was how they included her talking to Andrew and him saying how his mom's in jail. So you kind of learn a little bit more about maybe why he's putting his I don't know, maybe acting out and bullying someone else. It's because he's having a rough time at home as well.
Do you think there is going to be a connection between them? Because as we find out tonight, and we'll talk about more at length about Pilar and Tommy, but through that we get the development that Dion and Tommy became friends because of they were orphans. Or so they called themselves orphans. Dion was an actual orphan, even though Tommy wasn't, and that was their connection. And then in this regard, the storylines and the connections seem very similar. So it's just a matter of flipping the switch and them becoming friends rather than enemies.
I can see that. I think that I think there's going to be an altercation first where TJ actually does defend himself, and I think that after that maybe something like that could happen. Okay. But I definitely think him learning to defend himself is going to come into play. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's going to be with someone else, but I think that they included that for more than just, the bonding moment between Aiden and him.
It would be really cool if for some reason Andre picks a fight with someone he shouldn't have and starts getting his little butt beat, and then who should come to the rescue but TJ?
That'd be cool.
And that's what starts their friendship, because that's what Dion was to Tommy.
Wow.
And now the roles could get reversed.
I like it. I like that. That'd be cool. We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Before we move on, I want to tell you guys about a sponsor of our show. It's a mattress company called Casper. Now, they're not your average mattress company. Most times when you think of mattresses, you think about going to the store, trying out for a couple minutes. And you know what? It doesn't really give you an accurate reflection of what that mattress is going to feel like. It's just not. 20 minutes on a mattress versus an all-night sleep. No. Plus, most good mattresses cost a ton of money. They really do, right? Why? Because of they got to be shipped to the store, they got to be in the showroom, so forth. So they get marked up. Casper, what they do, it's all online. You go to Casper.com, you pick a mattress, and it ships to your door, and you get to try it out for 100 days. And if you don't like it for whatever reason, no questions asked, you just you send it back. But let me tell you, why would you? This thing, it's latex, it's foam, it's I have a Casper mattress, and whenever I have a friend from Chicago that flies in at once a week, and he ends up stealing my bed, and I have to sleep on the floor, and he calls it like sleeping on heaven, or sleeping in heaven.
Why didn't I know about Casper when I moved out here?
That's why I'm here to tell you about it.
Thank you.
So again, the price, right? So a king size mattress is $950. Even Pilar wouldn't say no to that. So, of course, so very fantastic mattress. And you can get even $50 off your purchase of it if you go to Casper.com/AfterBuzzTV and use the promo code AfterBuzzTV. Right? Very simple. So go there, check it out, put in the promo code so that way they know we've sent you, and you get $50 off, making an already incredible mattress that's cheap. Not cheap as in crappy, but cheap as in the price. Even more cheaper.
Sounds like
as
a
in
deal.
the price. It is a deal. It's a win-win for everybody.
Sounds like it.
All right. Speaking of, betting or sleeping, Pilar is certainly trying.
She is trying hard. That girl, she's determined.
Okay, let me ask you this. Does it, is it, a lot of the things I do, I also host a show called Anatomy of Movie, and for whatever reason in the film world, there's been a lot of discussion about the portrayal of women. And is this too ditzy of a portrayal of her? Like, is she, as a female, is she trying too hard? Like, are they miswriting her?
I don't know. It's hard because he does show interest as well. Definitely, you see that there's something there that between them. So she's not completely just going after something that's not attainable. I don't know.
But she did see, like, because we'll talk about the contract, but she says, I told you there was stuff wrong with it, and after a certain point, it looks like she kind of is starting to get the grasp of the accounting. So it seems like she knows a little bit, maybe more so than she's letting. I think she's overstretching her by a little. But initially, as the episode was happening, I thought, man, she might be overstretching herself by a lot.
Yeah, that's what I thought originally. I was like, what is she doing? You can't pretend to know how to manage a restaurant. I would mess that up in 2 seconds, but
right? But at the end, she seems like
she does seem like she knows what's going
80%
on.
of it.
Yeah,
let's
that's
say.
why I was a little confused by that actually, because even when she was on the phone with her boss goes, "You know nothing about managing a restaurant," and then so by the end, when she seemed to have kind of control of it and know what was going on.
Yeah, to
an extent.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, the things that she wouldn't have known about, to me, is not her fault. It's literally Dion just handing out wads of cash to anybody and not getting receipts, and then of course the Tooth Fairy taking $10,000, which is unaccounted for.
Dion, I had many problems with him this episode.
But we will talk.
Yes.
First, the love story.
First, we'll talk about the love story.
Because we one of the we were wondering whether or not they would have a connection, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was actually going to be a little more of her kind of going in for it and him, like pumping the brakes. But he, like we said, he met her halfway for the kiss. They were definitely enjoying each other's company. And afterwards, he said it's too soon. But you hear him say, like, I need you. So they definitely enjoy each other's company. And he, I think, has some sort of feelings for her. I just don't know if it's to the level that she's at.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it was fun seeing her when she's doing the wine tasting. She was like, "Let's just get drunk. I don't really care about this."
Yeah.
At least that's what it looked like. It'll be interesting because as this develops, obviously the restaurant brings him closer to his wife. So does that then, divide them more, or can it in some ways lessen the wound of the wife and then allow him to move on and pursue this connection?
Well, that's what I was thinking, is because it was supposed to be him, Dion, and Ree. So I'm thinking that, yeah, as this restaurant goes on, he's going to miss her a little, but maybe Pilar is going to kind of be that third person in their party and kind of the three amigos, maybe.
Which that's what I thought trio stood for. Trio. How do you pronounce that?
Trio. I don't know.
Well, there's three and then Rio. All right, yeah.
The Rio. We're saying it wrong, totally, but
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I 100% agree with you. She did leave right after, and I'd want to rewatch to see if it's because for some reason she saw the phone call about them stealing the wine, or if she was just upset over the mood.
Yeah,
of it.
because she was in that end scene. Wait, wasn't she in it? Wasn't there a scene after that she was in? Or is the thing about the contract being wrong before that?
Oh no, that was after.
Yeah. So, and there was no weirdness. So I was a little confused by that too, to why she left, because I mean, maybe it'll get brought up in the next episode, but she didn't seem to have any
reservations.
No,
or
not at all.
After that. Yeah, I mean, she's got persistence, so you can't.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought it was kind of weird that she just volunteered. You know, she dropped her job where she was actually getting paid to manage this restaurant where she's not getting paid, just to kind of get close to him. I thought that was a little weird.
Here's my advice for Pilar, if I had to give it. No, because I think, you know, if she wants to pursue this relationship, I think that's fine. Maybe pump the brakes. Career-wise, you know, it could be a good move.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the contract, knowing if there was some deeper stuff that obviously keeps surfacing and she knew about, then perhaps not. And she should have, you know, as a business person, should have been like, no, we got to fix these issues.
Yeah.
We're not going into business with this. You know, obviously right now she doesn't own a percentage, but I think that could be, you know, as you said, she could be a third party to this.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, unfortunately, the father owns 50% of it, so
Yeah.
the rest of the shares get a little bit smaller there. But business-wise, it's not a bad decision. I think she just needs to pump the brakes on the love and focus more on the business.
Yeah, because I think right now at the state that she is at, you know, with the contract as the first indicator, she's going to let that kind of take over the business aspect of things, and then she's going to kind of end up losing all around.
Yeah.
So I think she definitely needs to pump the brakes a little. And you know, play it a little cooler, and yeah, because that's true. I didn't even think about that. That business wise, if this is a successful restaurant, she ends up managing it. That is good for her.
Absolutely.
So,
Versus, like, no offense to the other job, like it might be paying, but like you know, it doesn't. It's just what is it? A coffee shop? It's a whatever type of.
It's true. That is a good point.
So you gotta look at the right things, but never, you know, unfortunately, don't be dictated by love and business.
No, bad idea.
They say choose your business partners even stricter than you would wife or husband or whatever.
Wow.
So be careful.
I'll be careful.
All right. What do I have written after that? Oh, 4 weeks to launch.
Yeah.
That is the first stipulation of the contract, which nobody apparently read.
I'm nervous about the contract. I think we mentioned that last week, that there was just going to be stuff in that contract that was not going to be good for them. And that was just the first of a couple that we found out about.
Yeah, today we found out, what was it, a total of two. One, that they have to launch in 4 weeks. Two,
to the chef.
Yes, he gets
which is huge.
Because it's not
Dion, and that is what he's making this restaurant to be the chef, and there's going to be so much more, I feel like.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be interesting. But in terms of the 4 weeks, obviously a very daunting task. However, you know, the nice part is, like, you know, they've always had the designs in their mind and things like that. And so I think, honestly, the execution side of it, if you really want to, you can always execute fast. Yeah. It just comes down to willpower. And especially in a family-type restaurant or setting or environment, you know, it can be achieved.
Yeah, because they're not starting from complete scratch. Like you said, they had very detailed plans for what the restaurant was going to look like and what they wanted to do. But the way they're going through the money and stuff is making me nervous. Yeah,
I think, you know, ironically, I think they have too much free time despite a 4 week launch. Like, if I was, because Dion's sort of doing his bit and he's setting up the kitchen, which I know Tommy deals with the wine, that much we know. But if you have any downtime, like, pick up a book about restaurants.
Yeah, read the contract, maybe.
That would help.
That's probably what they should be doing in their free time.
Especially now that they have a copy, since Dion made a point, like, this is what you do with a contract. You make a copy.
Yep, and they still haven't read it.
No. And so I think, yeah, that would be my biggest knock on them. But I think in terms of 4 weeks, I know it's daunting, but it's one of those things, like, if you're given a task with an impossible deadline, I do believe, and many people can actually prove this, that you become so hyper-focused that you know that that's all you can do. Now, if you're the type of person to just give up and quit, then obviously it won't work.
Yeah.
But if you're the type of person to just persevere, yeah, you will.
Well, and like honestly, right now they have absolutely nothing else to do or going on besides maybe picking up TJ from school
Or just snorting coke.
or drugs and gang stuff,
Yeah.
mob stuff. It's mobs, right? Mobs, gangs, are they?
Mobs.
Mobs, okay.
Gangs are a little bit different. Clearly, Abby has grown up on the streets of New York.
Yeah.
The harshest of them all.
Oh yeah. Can you tell? Don't I come across like that?
So, you know, that was thrown on them. But I like, yeah, I mean, obviously you want to do it right. You know, this is something that they've always talked about. But I hard to imagine, obviously things have changed. Well, I'm sorry, the train of thought is happening. No, because, okay, so the wife died a year ago, and so they were planning this, and so you would think at a certain point, like, this would have been somewhat budgeted out.
Yeah.
You know, and the $75K that they got, obviously that's the startup cost and whatnot. So you kind of pick and choose of, okay, out of that, what is absolutely essential? You know, and maybe we can get the rest as time goes by. Obviously, if you want, you know, two doors to the freezer
And a $700 pan.
Well, I think the pans could have waited.
Yeah,
You know, and spend like the stuff that you can't change easily. Yeah, put the money towards
sure.
that. But
Yeah, well, I think that's the issue with there's really no communication between Tommy and Dion and Pilar. It's this huge thing will be coming in, and that's the first Tommy's hearing of it. Because I think Tommy has the more rational side of, look, we don't need to, that's so impractical. But Dion has his mindset and is just doing it.
yeah, and so, you know, sometimes being that bullheaded, you know, obviously you can achieve many great things. You know, but obviously there's an unfortunate side to it, because obviously he's got dealings with the Tooth Fairy right now that he's got to pay out to, and obviously losing $10K, that's a lot.
I just don't know how he's gonna explain that. Did he explain that or try to? Because they brought it up to him, and he's like, I have nothing left. But I'm just waiting for, because obviously Tommy still doesn't know that all of that is happening behind the scenes, and I'm waiting for him to find out about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna come out in that way. I mean, it's one of those things of it's gonna lead to an argument about the receipts, because it's like, I don't know. Well, we have $30,000 worth of receipts accounted for. Where's the rest of the 45?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I paid this guy in cash. I don't know.
Oh, Dion.
So
He was killing me this episode.
yeah, and I think, you know what? Come up with payment plans.
Yeah.
I think that we could have saved some money there. I get the contractors, you have to typically put half up front. But I feel like, especially a guy like him, he could have negotiated maybe like a third up front. You know, when the job's 2/3 done, you get the other. When it's done, you get the last third.
Yeah, I feel like Dion has the potential to be a great negotiator and businessman, but he's just putting all his energy into the wrong places.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I think his mind's in 1,000 places too. He's got a lot going on.
He does, you know, and this is something that he's been thinking about, and he's, you know, finally now it's just kind of clicking for him. But so let's talk about the stealing of the wine, because there's no money left for wine. And when you're buying wine, that's $350 a bottle.
Yeah.
Even in bulk.
It's expensive.
You know, as certainly Dion points out to him, like, we got $100,000 worth of wine.
Yeah. That was, I mean, I feel like that's going to come back to bite them, right?
How so? How do you imagine it coming back?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but that just seems like they got away with that way too easily. They took so much wine, and now the fact that there was someone injured in it, I think it's going to be more of a thing. You know what I mean? I think that maybe if no one was hurt during it, it could have, I mean, obviously they still stole a lot of money worth of wine, but I think now that there's someone hurt, it becomes more of an issue.
Well, I think even if someone wasn't hurt, let's say, his former boss, right? You know, he knows that he wants to start up a restaurant. So as soon as this thing starts up, and if it is to any degree successful, right away. He's going to go and see the restaurant, and then
all his wine.
And there you go.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, I don't know how it fully works out, but, depending on how many distributors there are of that wine, especially in this area, it's going to be like, okay, well, I'm the only, there's got to be one of the wines that only he distributes.
Yeah, that they're going to have. I think it'd just be way too easy to narrow down that. And definitely going into it knowing that you had all of this wine taken from you, I feel like it'd be way too easy to figure out.
And there's also the notion of getting audited.
I don't know much about that, but yes.
Well, again, it goes back to accounting, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you have all this wine, no receipts, no record of accounting for it,
it's all bad.
Where the hell did this wine come from?
They're already going to have trouble with that then.
So
the money thing's a whole issue.
So trust me, it's, and by the way, getting audited costs you a crap ton of money. So
does Pilar know about this?
Pilar, she's gonna have a nightmare on her hands.
Pilar is in for a lot of work.
So the other thing that we talked about, the chef was part of the contract, which it makes sense the way the father explains it. It makes sense because this is his place where he can do business dealings and really start up in the Bronx, and it's an interesting way of why he got it. Finally, it gives us the why from the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. But the chef, why the chef?
I think part of it's control, but part of it, you can tell, like, he loved the idea of the restaurant. He was not into Dion's food last.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't into all the, like, fancy stuff. He said he wants some blood.
I mean, at best, I think this guy's going to make gourmet burgers.
You think? You think he's going to change it up completely?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
You think they're going to... with the thin meat and this,
that's true.
like, no, quality's gonna go to crap.
Yeah, like I said, this whole contract thing is gonna be a mess because it's gonna, they have their vision so set that it's gonna be such, I think, a conflicting component because I think that contract probably contradicts a lot of what they want.
I agree. And that was a long contract.
Yeah.
Like, no offense.
They should have skimmed it at least.
Most contracts are like, that I know of, are like, maybe 14 pages.
How long was this one? I don't remember.
This one was a packet.
Maybe
was a
maybe
book.
it was only one-sided.
Even so. I don't know. That was like the Lord of the Rings of contracts.
I don't even remember what it even looked like now. How thick? Like this?
It was very thick.
Wow. Well,
go back, Pete.
But like
if you guys will take a screenshot of,
I can't even feel bad for them because they should have at least they didn't even like whatever that is called, like go through it at all.
Yeah,
it was just
it's
dumb.
a disaster.
It is a disaster. And
if I can give anyone advice for what it's worth, not that I'm the world's best deal maker or anything like that, but typically you go over deal points, and then once you have deal points from both sides negotiated, then it gets written up by lawyers, and then you put in the legal jargon and whatnot. But you don't. This was a ready thing, and just that indication alone, obviously, is going to tell you that okay, this is going to be in favor of whoever drafted it.
He had it ready. He was ready to go. So.
I can only imagine what's in this thing. Please, a fun thing, if you guys will, at home, just type out, like, what would be the worst possible thing to be in this contract.
Ooh.
And, like, legitimate. Like, obviously, don't just make up answers because, like, it says I can kill you. Like, don't just write that. But, like, legitimately.
Oh, that's like a good thing. I want to think about that.
Think about it.
I mean, there's going to be things that come out that I'm just going to be like, wow, I can't believe that's in there.
Yeah, because again, the tough part is how does it best serve the grandfather?
Yeah, so.
And we know he wants to expand, so it'll be interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. One of the things I wanted to touch upon quickly was Mos. Is that how you fully say his name? Mos.
Is that
the former Afghanistan soldier?
Yeah,
Don't surprise me.
He's so like nonchalant about it. He's like, he surprised me, so I had to. He like broke his. I don't know. He did some serious damage to that security guard.
And he almost did it to the to the contractor.
Oh
the
yeah,
construction
with
worker.
a nail gun.
Well, luckily you can't shoot a nail gun unless it's pressed against something.
Oh, good. I didn't know that.
But still, it's, it's still pretty scary. I'm sure. And I like how his only qualification is we get money if we hire him.
It's like, okay, he's on.
Really? What's he do?
I know. He was kind of a fun little insert, though.
Do you think he's going to stick around for a little bit longer?
I think maybe.
Or is he a liability, though? Because I don't know, if you're really smart and you're Dion and you're Tommy, and especially Tommy at that point, like, okay, like...
Maybe for Tommy, for Dion, I mean, I think Dion kind of likes having that guy kind of just doing whatever he needs.
He only does things when he's surprised.
But like dragging him in to
like,
go...
God forbid there's a birthday party at the restaurant.
Yeah, oh gosh. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. When customers are in, he's a bigger liability. But like, he just got dragged into going and stealing all the wine, too.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I don't know.
So we'll see.
We'll see if he sticks around.
Fair enough. All right. So let's get into the Asian Coke business.
I was just about to say the drugs.
This is, we get this side of it, and now the father tells the Tooth Fairy that he has to divide it into 5 portions. Do you think he did that, or do you think he just literally dumped it all on Dion?
I think he dumped it all on Dion.
Why? What? Here's, like, as great as great as a nemesis the Tooth Fairy is, obviously in comparison to the father, as the father called you, you're a putz.
Yeah, I think that this episode, I told you last episode that to me, he doesn't come across as scary and tough as he needs to be. And I think this episode, they kind of showed that he's not. Like, he really isn't to me. He seems
but you
to have
realize
some
the irony
weakness.
of that statement, because it takes a whole lot of something to go up to a man and pull out his teeth.
I know, but pulling out his teeth compared to killing them, when his dad's straight up saying, kill these people, and you can tell his dad had no problem with doing that. And I think that there's like I don't know how to describe it, but he's like a lot softer.
Again, I think to me it depends on your definition, because in many ways, like, shooting someone there's a disconnect almost there. But if you have to physically, like some people say, like, if you have to physically, like, stab somebody with a knife or do hand-to-hand combat, and that's the way, like, there's something more to it, right? There's an actual connection. There's an actual, perhaps, hate even. Oh. I don't know how to just,
I've never thought about that. I don't like that.
There is a philosophy to killing. Believe it or not.
I'm not researched on my philosophy to killing.
It's like people who strangle their victims.
Yeah, like that.
Like,
That's
you're looking right into their eyes, and the force of your hands is like gruesome, like hatred.
It's a sadistic draw.
Ugh.
A sadistic appeal, if you will.
Yeah, I guess I'm not thinking that deeply into it.
But again, so in that regard, you can call the Tooth Fairy the sadist, whereas the father's much more about result based. So from a business standpoint, yeah, killing them and shooting them with a gun, yeah, let's just get it done.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the Tooth Fairy, I don't think he's very smart either.
Well, yeah, because we didn't see him with the Coke. I really want to know, and I hope we find out next episode, if he divided it. Because that would have been the dumbest thing to do, is just to give it to...
I think he did. That's why I think that's gonna be a huge issue, because the cop, what's the cop dad's name?
And the interesting part is, right, he's putting a lot on Dion, and, it's one thing to have, the whole reason why this restaurant works is he's going to be able to launder money. It could potentially make him money as well. But to entrust Coke with someone who does Coke,
yeah,
and he already owes you a lot of money, it's just too much. It's too much of a gamble. You got to diversify your portfolio a little bit here.
Yeah, I thought that. I didn't even think about that. Now that was so dumb of him. That was so dumb. That's what I'm telling you. The Tooth Fairy is not as smart, the smartest guy, because Dion already, you see him breaking into it.
Well, I mean, again, I'm sure he'll get his legs broken for that or something, but
you already see in the previews that when they need more money, he goes into it.
Well, he uses it as leverage against, with our cop friend.
Oh.
I think from the previews.
Because I actually wrote right when the Tooth Fairy gave Dion the drugs, I right away go, the cop guy's gonna find it.
Well, he sat on him, and there's that cloud.
Yeah. I don't know. That was just dumb. That was just dumb all around.
Yeah.
But I don't think he separated it.
And I think Dion needs a much better hiding spot.
Yeah.
I think this is, this would be the world's shittiest thing, but I think this is one where you tell TJ, here's a bag. I want you to take it, put it somewhere extremely, extremely safe, like legitimately safe. Remember it, but don't ever tell me.
Have you done this before?
No. It just seems so... I don't know. My whole philosophy is if I'm going to be anything, I'm going to be the best at it. Why? Like, if I'm going to be a mobster, why,
Be the best mobster out there?
That's right.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Why go into it half-assed?
True.
No.
But then we wouldn't have the drama that is Feed the Beast.
No, we wouldn't. So yeah, there's that, and he's getting, I like the way they're building up the tension. It's basically like an arcade game. What do you call it? The old one, the ping ball machine, where he's getting ping-balled between the cop and the Tooth Fairy.
Pinball.
Yeah. Pong?
Ping pong?
No, just pong. What do you call
Pinball.
it? Pinball.
Yeah.
Pinball.
Pinball.
Pong, yes, but pinball. He's like a pinball in a pinball machine.
You sound like you're saying ping ball, and it's thrown me off.
Interesting.
Pinball.
Pinball.
Okay.
Pinball.
Pinball.
So yeah, there you go. Anything else to add about that?
I thought that it was interesting the way Dion uses Ree to kind of get a rise out of Tommy. I think it's kind of twisted.
Yeah, that's true.
That scene, he's like, I forget exactly what happened, but it was when about Randy getting hurt, and he brings up Ree to get him like fired up, and I think that's just kind of weird. It's very insensitive. I don't know.
I liked how he built them up like, yeah, tell him this, tell him that, and there's like, whoa, okay, relax.
Yeah,
there.
it's like chill, but I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. So I can see him using that. I can see him using Ree to kind of get what he wants in the future a little more.
Yeah, and it is, obviously that's kind of a small point of contention at the moment. I'm sure it'll build as time goes on, the whole fact of like, oh, another conversation that I was not involved in.
Yeah.
So
I think that's it, though.
I'm going to give you some advice that I heard.
Okay. I love this.
I don't know where I heard it from. So basically, actually, I'll tell it. I'll tease it now, and I'll tell it as we're doing the special segment.
Okay.
Because I don't know how 100% relevant it is to the show.
Okay.
But I think it's a good little bit of insight. Anyway, where was I going with Dion and these guys? Yeah, I think that'll surface more and more as time goes by, and it'll be interesting to see how it develops, and whether or not ultimately if they can stay friends or not.
Yeah,
is what it's going to come down to. Because they had that whole simplicity of them being orphans, but now life changes.
Yep.
By the way, I really loved how the shower, the sound of it, production-wise, resembled like a sizzling pan.
Oh.
You didn't get that?
No, wow.
That was very interesting. All right, any other stray observations before we move on to
special segment?
The special segment and whatnot?
I don't think so.
All right, so let me explain this, what we've got here today. If you're watching the video, you can see we have some wine, we have some food, and whatnot. If you're listening, I've just now told you we have those things. And so each week, because the show obviously deals with wine, and Tommy's a great sommelier, we're going to do some wine tastings to maybe try to educate you, but more so just to drink some wine.
Yeah.
This is the part of the show that, it's just fun. At this point, if you want, feel free to tune out. as we're going to be a little bit irreverent, but nonetheless, hope maybe some of you guys will stick around and kind of enjoy some of it. So one of part of this whole thing is us hopefully getting an education, you guys getting an education, and so Abby has the definition of what a sommelier is, and we're gonna keep defining it and adding more specifics as time goes by. So this is more of the general term.
Yes. Okay. So a sommelier, which I have trouble saying, is a trained in wine professional. They usually work at fine restaurants, specialize in all aspects of the wine service, as well as what pairs correctly the wine and food. The role is very specialized and informed compared to just a wine waiter. They're an expert. I don't know what word that is.
What's the word?
Opened? Is that a word?
They're opened?
Opened?
Sure.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Okay. They're
Just go with it.
Opened by Sommelier Australia that the role is strategically on par with that of an executive chef.
Oh, open, meaning like of opinion.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. But a professional sommelier also works on the floor of the restaurant and is in direct contact with the patrons, giving suggestions, and they have to go within their preference and their budget, which can be a very big thing.
That's right.
In modern times, a sommelier's role may be considered broader than working only with wines, but may encompass all beverages. I think that's
beer, spirits, all this.
Yeah, beer,
all
cocktails,
and even
tobaccos.
sometimes cigars.
Yeah.
Sometimes of that nature. Yeah, it's kind of evolved over the years, and whatnot. Great tip. A lot of wine places now charge you for wine tastings. Technically, they shouldn't. A true wine place should not actually charge you. Now, that's because people would just go and drink free wine and be, as I call them, shitbirds. So don't be that person either.
Don't be a shitbird.
Don't be a shitbird.
No one wants to be that.
One of the reasons why I think this segment's fun, I wanted to introduce also vineyards, and so my heritage, we have a couple of vineyards. So there's me and my cousins. If you're watching the video, we have some pictures. I'll try to post them on Instagram or force Abby to tweet them out because I don't tweet.
I can do that.
So there's me and my cousins. James, if you will, go to the next picture. So right here, so this is me, my youngest cousin, and our grandfather, whose vineyard we're at. And go to the next picture, if you will. This is the front of our cottage, and behind it is the vineyard. And one of the reasons we're doing white wine today is because my grandfather just enjoyed white wine, and so we used to have 6 barrels of white wine, 2 barrels of red, just because he liked it better. And so I grew up liking white wine more than red wine, but these are some of the grapes. So this is the red grapes that we have. And for us, they tend to be a little bit more sweeter. And this is the white grapes. And then we have some photos of just kind of picking the grapes and whatnot, and then various barrels. So I've been through the entire winemaking process. Our cellar is actually cool. There's kind of, how people put coins on whether in fountains or on walls or something like that. So we have a whole collection of coins on the wall because it's almost like mud, but not quite mud. And the notion is that if you put a coin on the wall, it means you had a great time and you promise to return.
Ooh.
So we have coins from all over Europe. It's pretty cool.
I want to go to a vineyard.
There's plenty of them. There's plenty of vineyards that we can highlight. And then this is our other kind of vineyard as well. So these are photos from that. Anyway, so without further ado, figured I give you a little bit of history as to why we're doing this. So we have a white wine today. Now, I'm kind of cheating because it tells you exactly what it pairs with. It's from Oregon. It's a Pinot Gris. And it pairs well with the spring salad and goat cheese, or scallops with pesto and hazelnuts. So we kind of got a spring salad. Abby was hungry, so
I'm so hungry.
It kind of goes in nicely.
I've been smelling the wine the entire time.
That's right. So we're gonna, So if you're at home, give it a shot. The name of this that we got is called Rainstorm. Again, it's from Oregon. It's a 2014, but one of the fun things is let us know your guys' suggestions of wines that we should try. Maybe you have your own wine that you'd like us to try. Maybe you want to send us this bottle of wine.
Give me suggestions, because I've got next week, and I've got a tough act to follow with
That's
this
right.
setup.
That's right, you do. So, this has goat cheese. It's a spring salad, although we are in the summer.
Is it officially summer?
It's, I don't know.
Might
Isn't
still
it?
be spring.
It's freaking June. Isn't it summer? Is it
Could
not?
be.
What I liked about the show was that they actually, he taught you how to taste wine.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's, you kind of, obviously, you swirl around for the air and whatnot, and you got to smell it. Smelling's really important because, again, for those of you going back to science class, your taste buds on your tongue can only do so much. It's the smell that really...
What does the swirling do?
Aeration.
What's that?
It kind of... I don't know the scientific way, but again, I'm not a sommelier, so I can't explain it. But it's
I'll figure it
it's
out.
good for
Like
the
how
wine.
carbonation is for soda, aeration is for wine.
There you go.
Oh.
So what does it smell like to you? Every wine should have like a story. What is this wine story?
I'd be the worst sommelier ever.
You're like Pilar. You're like, can't we just friggin' drink this?
Just let me get drunk.
All right, take a sip.
It's good.
It's got a little peachy taste, right? No?
I don't know.
What?
Let me try again.
You have the worst taste buds. Try it with just take a bite of the salad. All right, James. As we continue, why don't we hit it into predictions and predict while we chew a mouthful of predictions.
It's gonna be gross.
Let's see. This is the one part of it that gets
Your
tricky.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, I'll try to go first and not have the chewing too much. Yeah, obviously, I do think, as it got teased, that Dion is going to make some sort of deal with our cop friend, And I also wanted to find out that the love of his life, maybe, is the daughter of the cop, because that'll be interesting.
Shayna?
Yes, that's it.
You think that's the love of his life?
Well, for now. Although, I really want to see also a school counselor be involved in some way. I hope they kind of...
That's what I said. I said that the school counselor and Dion might have a little thing, but I didn't get any of that vibe this episode.
Well, because they didn't interact. You can't get a vibe if you don't, what was he going to just think about her? Like, oh my God, the school counselor.
After Tommy came out, he could have, implied something that he was maybe into it.
Like, bro, you mind if I hit that?
Yeah, exactly. Straightforward.
Yeah.
But I think... I'm so just... I don't even know.
You can't be drunk. You can't blame it on the
Drunk.
wine
No,
already.
I'm kidding. Like I said, I think that TJ is definitely gonna have a moment, but that's not a really good prediction.
I really want to see more scenes with him and the grandfather.
Me too. I like it. It's very interesting, definitely, because all we know right now is that the grandfather did have some sort of problem with the race of Ree, possibly. That's what, right? He's a racist, but
he's
the
not
way,
taking it out.
Yeah, exactly. He seems to genuinely want to get to know TJ, so I like to see that relationship together because they seem to have this. It's almost like the grandfather communicates with TJ better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let us know your guys' predictions. You guys, a lot of times, come up with fantastic predictions, and I love reading them. And hopefully, we'll get to read some of them on air as well as time goes by. In the meantime, where can the people follow you? @_Abby Vega. That's it. Again, the wine we tried today is called Rainstorm. It's from Oregon. Give it a try. Or just let us know which wine we should try. We're all about that.
Yes, please send me suggestions, people.
Thank you guys for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And if you haven't already done so, feel free to subscribe. By the way, Abby does a ton of shows here at AfterBuzz TV, so if you enjoyed her, maybe you'll enjoy some of the other shows that
And if
she
you're
does.
sick of me, I'm sorry. I'm going to be here.
There you go. All right, guys. We'll see you next time for episode 4.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.